From the moment you turn 60, a silent process begins to accelerate. It gives no warning, it causes no pain, but every morning you feel different. Getting up from a chair isn't as effortless as it used to be. Your legs don't hurt, but they feel heavy, like they're weighed down with lead. You're not lazy, you still move around, but deep inside, strength has slowly started to drain from your muscles, little by little. Nobody warned you about this, and no doctor measured it at your last checkup. The truth is, your body is lacking an essential nutrient, one that used to help regenerate muscles every night. And if it's not replenished at breakfast, muscle loss will continue until you can no longer get up easily. The good news is, just one very familiar food, scientifically confirmed, can reverse this downward trend. And everything can start again, right from your breakfast plate tomorrow. Nobody tells you that your muscles also age. It's not an overnight change or even a year-long one. It's a process that spans decades, quietly beginning around age 30 and significantly accelerating after 60. The name of this process is sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass due to aging. It doesn't cause inflammation, it doesn't cause pain, and it won't show up in your blood test results, but it impacts every basic action: getting up, maintaining balance, stepping over a curb, or turning around when someone calls your name from behind. Sarcopenia isn't a rare disease. On the contrary, according to statistics from epidemiological studies in the US, nearly 1 in 3 people aged 60 and older show signs of muscle mass decline, even if they still live independently, go shopping, and drive. But the worrying thing is, very few people know they're losing muscle. Unlike high blood pressure, you don't see a number. Unlike osteoporosis, there's no clear test. Instead, there are just a few subtle signs. It's a little harder to get up. You walk upstairs a bit slower. You need to hold on to something to tie your shoelaces. And people just call that getting old. But getting old doesn't mean losing an active body. Sarcopenia doesn't just make you weaker. It's the silent cause of most falls in older adults, especially in the US, where the healthcare system records hundreds of thousands of hospitalizations every year just from falls in the bathroom. Sarcopenia also doesn't stop at your legs. When muscle mass drops below what's needed, your balance, reaction time, and grip strength all decline. This explains why tasks that used to be simple, like holding a cutting board, opening a jar lid, or reaching for something, gradually become difficult, even if your bones and joints are still stable. And the most dangerous part? The process of muscle loss happens every day, every week, every month, especially after every missed breakfast or one that lacks sufficient regenerative nutrients. Because after a long night, amino acid levels in your blood drop sharply. If you don't consume enough nutrients at the right time, your body won't have the material to preserve muscle and will start breaking down muscle tissue for energy. That's why the morning is the most important anabolic window to preserve remaining muscle mass or rebuild what's been lost. Unfortunately, most Americans over 60 still eat breakfast cereals, white bread, or just a cup of coffee. This means the most important meal for muscle protection has been missed. Your body doesn't automatically rebuild muscle after you wake up. It needs to be given a command, and the one that gives that command, it's not youth and it's not exercise, it's leucine. Leucine isn't a familiar name, but it's what determines whether your body continues to retain its strength. You can eat breakfast, feel full, even think you're eating enough. But if you don't have enough leucine, your muscles won't receive the signal to repair. You're still breathing, still moving, but inside, small muscle fibers are still being dismantled, quietly, little by little, simply because your body hasn't been given the on switch to stop. Leucine is the only amino acid capable of activating mTOR, the biological machinery that controls the entire process of muscle recovery and synthesis. When you eat a meal with leucine exceeding a certain threshold, about 2.5 g, your body understands. Conditions are met, start rebuilding. If that threshold isn't met, mTOR stays silent. And when mTOR is silent, your body doesn't rebuild anything. The problem is, after age 60, the response threshold for leucine increases. What was enough in your youth is no longer effective. You need more precisely, and earlier, especially at breakfast, when your body is in a state of recovery after a long night without food. But most common breakfasts, a slice of toast, a bowl of oatmeal, a glass of juice, contain almost no leucine. And this is precisely why older adults feel gradually weaker, even if they eat regularly. You're not lazy, you're not lacking effort, you're just lacking a very specific nutrient at the most crucial time. Leucine isn't a special pill, it's real, found in a food that has been misunderstood for decades. It's inexpensive, easy to find, and can be cooked in 5 minutes. But due to old prejudices, many people over 60 have removed it from their tables and missed the opportunity for morning recovery. You don't need to change your entire diet. You just need to start again with leucine every morning. There's a food that used to appear daily at the breakfast tables of many families. It was cheap, easy to buy, easy to cook, and once considered healthy food. Until it became the criticized culprit for decades, the media called it a heart risk. Many older adults followed outdated advice and eliminated it from their menus. Nobody knew that when that food disappeared, muscles also gradually weakened. Today's science has proven the opposite, that food is not only harmless, but it's also the richest natural source of leucine at breakfast. And for older adults, it's one of the very few foods that can help the body cross the leucine threshold without needing supplements. Its name, eggs. Back in the 1970s, 1980s, many health organizations advised people to limit eggs, especially the yolk, due to fears that cholesterol in eggs would increase the risk of heart disease. Numerous articles, food labels, and doctors' advice at the time all carried the same message: cut back on eggs to protect your heart. As a result, a generation of Americans, especially those entering middle age at the time, developed the habit of removing eggs from their daily diet, particularly breakfast. Instead, they were advised to eat low-fat cereals, white bread, fruit juice, or other carb-rich, low-cholesterol foods. Nobody told them. What they were cutting out was one of the most nutritious foods on the planet and a silent weapon against age-related muscle loss. Over the past 2 decades, numerous large-scale studies from Harvard, Mayo Clinic, the University of Sydney, and many international medical centers have completely refuted the direct link between egg consumption and increased risk of heart disease in healthy adults. A meta-analysis published in the BMJ in 2013 concluded that there is no significant association between consuming 1 egg a day and increased risk of cardiovascular disease or stroke. In fact, for older adults, where other factors like blood pressure, lifestyle, and inflammation have a greater impact, eggs become a part of the diet that helps protect muscle strength, support neuromuscular function, and improve motor function. At the same time, cereal, the breakfast championed for decades, is gradually revealing its limitations. First, cereal has very little leucine, a particularly important amino acid for helping the body regenerate and maintain muscle. Second, many processed cereals have a very high glycemic index, meaning they can cause blood sugar to spike quickly after eating. Finally, protein from cereal isn't as easily absorbed as protein from eggs, meat, fish, or dairy. For example, a breakfast consisting of about 45 grams of cereal and a cup of low-fat milk only provides about 7 to 9 grams of protein, which might sound like enough. But in reality, the amount of leucine, the key to activating muscle recovery, is only about 0.5 to 0.7 g, while the body needs at least 2 to 3 g of leucine to start rebuilding muscle tissues after a long night's rest, meaning it's not enough to begin muscle regeneration. In contrast, just 2 whole eggs provide this 13 grams of protein and over 1.1 g of leucine, a much closer step to the 2.5 g leucine threshold recommended for older adults to activate muscle synthesis. Furthermore, the protein quality of eggs is ranked highest according to the DIAAS, digestible, indispensable amino acid score, surpassing beef, fish, milk, and certainly far exceeding cereal. What does this mean? Your body absorbs and utilizes protein from eggs more effectively, not just in terms of quantity, but in its ability to actually convert into muscle. Cereal might make you feel full, but eggs are what help you maintain balance when you get up from your chair. Besides providing leucine, a crucial amino acid for muscle building, eggs also contain a special nutritional trio that directly impacts motor strength, though not everyone notices it. First is choline, an essential nutrient that helps maintain neuromuscular system activity. Choline plays a vital role in transmitting signals from the brain to your muscles, helping reflexes become quicker and more accurate, which is very necessary to avoid stumbling or moving slowly as you age. Next, the natural vitamin D found in egg yolks helps your body absorb calcium better and supports muscle bone function. This not only helps keep bones strong, but also reduces the risk of weak or quickly fatigued legs during activity. Finally, eggs provide vitamin B12 and folate, two substances that can reduce homocysteine levels in the blood. This compound, if accumulated in excess, is linked to muscle atrophy and reduced mobility in older adults. It is this harmonious combination of nutrients that transforms eggs into a compact yet incredibly powerful food. They help maintain muscle mass, support neurological reflexes, and enhance the strength of bones and joints, all in a simple serving, easy to prepare, easy to eat, and very suitable for the daily nutrition of older adults. Why have eggs been misunderstood for so long? Perhaps because for many years people only looked at the total cholesterol number on the label and ignored the bigger picture behind it. As soon as they heard 180 to 200 milliliters of cholesterol in one egg, they quickly assumed eggs were dangerous and should be avoided. But today's science tells a very different story. Many studies have shown that dietary cholesterol, like that from eggs, doesn't significantly impact blood cholesterol levels as much as once thought. In fact, for most of us, the body has a very intelligent mechanism. When you eat more cholesterol-containing foods, your liver automatically reduces its own internal cholesterol production to maintain balance. Thanks to this, the spike in cholesterol that was once feared doesn't occur. Even better, in many people, the ratio of HDL, the good cholesterol, tends to increase slightly with regular egg consumption. HDL is like a gatekeeper for your blood vessels, helping to prevent atherosclerosis and keeping blood flow healthier. Yet, for so many years, prejudice has lived longer than evidence, and because of these misunderstandings, countless people, especially older adults, have scratched eggs off their daily menus. They've overlooked a valuable source of nutrition, rich in easily absorbed protein, containing many essential vitamins, and especially good for muscles, bones, joints, and memory. The truth is, eggs are not the culprit, but rather one of the strongest allies in fighting muscle loss in older adults. It's a food that doesn't need flashy advertising, isn't found in bottles, and doesn't require a prescription. It's not glamorous, not trendy, but effective. Not expensive, but incredibly valuable. If cereal only calms your hunger, eggs give your muscles a signal to come alive. If cereal keeps you sitting still, eggs can help you stand up more steadily. And if there's any food that deserves to return to the breakfast table of older adults, not just for its taste, but for its biological function that has been honorably restored by science, then it is eggs. Eggs aren't a miracle food. They won't build muscle after just one meal. But what makes eggs special isn't their power, it's that they're right. The right ingredients, the right way your body absorbs them, at the right time when your body needs to reignite strength that has faded over the years. But not everyone believes that from the start. After years of hearing old warnings, many people still hesitate. So, what can change that belief? Perhaps nothing is more convincing than witnessing your own body recover, gently, step by step, just by a small action repeated every morning. The following story is a testament to this. Walter is 72 years old. He lives alone in a small house in Wisconsin, where he's lived for almost half his life. He doesn't have any serious illnesses. He doesn't need frequent hospital visits. But in recent years, he started noticing he wasn't as nimble as before. Initially, it was just a feeling. It took a little longer to get up from his chair. Then gradually, it was being unable to climb 2 stairs at once. Worse, one time he was standing in the kitchen reaching for a jar that was too high, and he stumbled. He didn't fall, but it was enough to startle him. Walter ate regularly, In the mornings, he usually had a bowl of oatmeal and a glass of orange juice. It was a habit from when his wife was alive. Eat light for a healthy heart, as the TV advised. But strangely, the more he ate right, the weaker he felt. His legs felt less steady. Squatting down to water plants was an effort. He started avoiding high curbs, staying indoors on windy days. Not because he was scared, but because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep his balance if something happened. One day, his daughter, a nurse from another state, came to visit. She watched how her father got up, how he braced his hands on his knees to get off the sofa, and was silent for a moment. Then that evening, she left a small note on the kitchen counter. "Dad, don't eat oatmeal tomorrow morning. Try 2 eggs instead, every day, just for 2 weeks." Walter chuckled. Eggs? How many years had he tried to avoid them? The newspapers said eggs weren't good. His old doctor advised him to limit egg yolks. But then he looked at his own legs and realized, even though he'd followed the advice, his strength was still draining away. So the next morning, for the first time in nearly 15 years, Walter boiled 2 eggs. Nothing complicated. Just eggs, a little salt, and a slice of whole wheat toast. The first day, nothing changed. By the third day, he noticed he didn't have to brace his hands as much when getting up from his chair. On the 7th day, he climbed the steps in front of his house, where 2 steps were a bit high, without stopping halfway. And by the 14th day, he noticed something strange. When walking across a rug, his foot didn't slip slightly like before. His steps felt more gripped, steadier. No magic, no expensive supplements, just 2 eggs every morning. His body, which he thought had accepted old age, was gradually recovering, not because he was getting younger, but because it finally had what it needed to fight against muscle loss. Now, Walter still eats eggs every morning. Not because his doctor told him to, not because of any scientific study, but because he feels himself walking more easily. Sitting down is no longer a struggle, and when he stands up, he no longer needs to build momentum. Eggs didn't change his age, but they gave him back a sense of agency, the feeling of being in control of his own legs. The final question isn't, are eggs good? It's, how should you eat eggs to truly unleash their muscle rebuilding effects, safely, consistently, and long-term? Because unlike medication, which has clear doses and fixed times, food doesn't deliver its full value if consumed at the wrong time, prepared incorrectly, or combined improperly. With eggs, the key isn't eat as many as possible, but to eat them correctly, sufficiently, and consistently. After a long night, your blood amino acid levels drop to their lowest. Experts call this the golden moment for muscle recovery because when you first wake up, your body is very sensitive to signals from food. If you eat at the right time, ideally within 60 minutes of waking up, your body will have the conditions to restart the muscle building process. And to do that, the amount of leucine from food must exceed a certain threshold, about 2.5 g of leucine in one meal, as discussed in previous sections. Eggs are an ideal choice because a large egg has about 0.55 g of leucine. 2 eggs provide nearly 1.1 g of leucine. And just by adding a little protein from milk, oatmeal, or peanut butter, you'll have enough to reach the necessary 2.5 g threshold. So, a simple breakfast with 2 eggs and a glass of milk or a slice of whole wheat toast with nut butter is a gentle yet effective way to wake up your muscles every day. It's not just a meal, it's a kickstart for strength, flexibility, and independent mobility as you age. Nobody wants to eat the same thing repeatedly, no matter how good it is, and the great thing is, eggs don't limit you to just one way of eating them. With a little creativity and care, eggs can seamlessly integrate into your daily breakfast, fitting every lifestyle, from relaxed to busy. For those who prefer simplicity, a breakfast of boiled eggs, a slice of whole wheat toast, and a few slices of avocado is perfectly satisfying. It's not overly complicated, but provides ample protein, good fats, and just enough energy to avoid feeling sluggish or bloated. If you love fresh flavors, try an omelette served with a salad of lettuce, tomatoes, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. This dish is not only visually appealing, but also provides extra vitamin C, a factor that helps your body absorb protein better and aids digestion. And if you want to start your day with a bit of warmth and color, a mushroom and spinach or kale scramble is an ideal choice. You'll not only get more fiber, but also potassium and magnesium, minerals that silently support blood circulation and muscle endurance. For those with less time, baked egg muffins, combining eggs, vegetables, and low-fat cheese, can be prepared in advance on the weekend and reheated for busy mornings. Just a few minutes in the microwave, and you have a nutritious, compact, and convenient meal. The important thing isn't to eat eggs every single day, but to let eggs visit your menu often enough. Just being consistent a few times a week is enough for your body to receive the necessary signals to preserve muscle strength, support reflexes, and maintain flexible mobility over the years. Eggs can be a true good friend for your health, but like any close friend, you need to understand each other to live more harmoniously. For older adults, there are a few things to keep in mind to ensure that eating eggs is always a gentle, safe, and truly beneficial experience for your body. If you have high blood cholesterol, should you be wary of eggs? The answer might surprise many. You don't need to eliminate eggs, you can even eat them daily if your meals are well balanced. According to major studies from Harvard and the American Heart Association, AHA, older adults, even those with high cholesterol, can safely consume 1 egg per day. The important thing is that your overall meal shouldn't contain too much saturated fat. In other words, don't eat eggs with sausages, bacon, or fried in animal butter. Those are the main culprits that increase bad cholesterol, LDL, not the egg itself. What if you're taking anticoagulant medications like warfarin? You might have heard that eggs contain vitamin K, and that's true, specifically vitamin K2, a less common form than K1. Fortunately, the amount of K2 in eggs is very low, usually not enough to affect the medication's efficacy. However, if you are undergoing long-term treatment, consulting your doctor is always the smartest and safest option. If you've experienced discomfort after eating eggs, should you cut them out entirely? Not necessarily. First, you need to distinguish clearly between an egg allergy and digestive upset. An allergy, usually to the egg white, is a true immune response that can cause rashes, difficulty breathing, and can be very serious. But many cases are just indigestion due to eating eggs fried in too much oil or eating too quickly. If you've ever felt mildly bloated after eating eggs, try starting again more gently, like soft-boiled eggs, eaten slowly in the morning, and monitor your reaction for a few days. Your body will tell you what works. What about flexitarians, specifically ovo-vegetarians, who eat eggs but not meat or fish? In this diet, eggs become the sole source of animal protein, and this is truly a valuable gift for protecting muscles, maintaining bone and joint strength, and supporting metabolism, especially as you age. Every body is a unique story, and eggs, though small, can play very different roles in each health journey. Just by understanding them correctly and using them correctly, you'll find that eggs are not just food, but a trustworthy ally in preserving your vitality over the years. So we've taken a journey from why your legs gradually weaken to the little-told truth about a forgotten nutrient, and then discovered a seemingly familiar food that holds the key to reigniting dormant strength in your body. Nothing too complicated, nothing out of reach, just understanding it correctly and starting right with simple things like this. Imagine one morning you get out of bed without having to brace yourself. Your legs aren't heavy, your knees don't buckle. You walk into the kitchen, not stumbling, but truly moving under your own power. It's not a distant dream. It's not a difficult exercise. It's not a new drug. It's just a properly adjusted meal every morning. It's just you giving your body the signal to retain its most valuable asset, strength. Perhaps you're 60, maybe 75, maybe even over 80, but as long as you can still walk, still dress yourself, still go out to your garden, your body still has the ability to recover. And sometimes that recovery doesn't start at the doctor's office, but right at your breakfast table. Have you tried bringing eggs back after years of avoiding them? Did you notice anything different in the first week? Share in the comments below. What's your age? Have eggs returned to your breakfast table? We read every comment and are eager to hear your story. And if you find this video helpful, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones, please subscribe so next time there's new content to help protect your legs, muscles, or autonomy in old age, you'll be the first to receive it.